Hello friends, a very warm welcome to Coding Techniques. Today we are going to study how to work with the camera plugin of Capacitor, which we are going to implement in our travel application, whose auth screens we have already built up long back actually. So today we are going to build the part 2 of it. But before starting off, I would like to share few information with you. First of all, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do that. That will give you all the notifications whenever some new video is coming up, so you will stay updated with all the things that I am providing in this channel. And secondly, well, you already know that I have launched a course in Udemy which is running in bestseller right now based on Ionic, right? So if you haven't enrolled in that particular course, this is the right time to do that. Do it as soon as possible. All the offer links are available in the description. Go and check the description right now. So with this, let's start building our application of travel app with the camera plugin. So let's get started. So now out here you can see that our app is running pretty nicely, which we have already built up. So up till here our sign up screen is working nicely. Then this is the welcome screen and the sign in screen. Alright, so everything is working out here nicely. Now what we are going to do in our sign up screen, out here we are going to have an option to click a photo or get it from the gallery. Alright, so that's what we are going to achieve in today's class. But before that, I would like to inform few things which is related to capacitor upgradation. So as you already know that capacitor version 3 is launched, and due to that some changes have occurred. So at first, if you are using still capacitor version 2 in your project, then it's better that you migrate to capacitor version 3. So let's check out what is the version that I am using. So I'll go to package.json file, and out here I can see that my capacitor plugin is alright. I have few plugins installed already of capacitor. So my capacitor core plugin is 3.2.2. Alright, that means I'm using capacitor version 3. So in order for you to do that, if you are using capacitor version 2 and you want to migrate to capacitor version 3, the best and the easiest way is to create a new project. Simply copy your files that are present in the src folder. Alright, say like app, assets, environment, theme, everything. Alright, up till I think main.ts file, you can simply copy it up and paste it out there and replace it in your new project. So that will set up all the things that we have designed out here. Fine. If you are new and you do not know how to create a new project, well, there is an I button that is hovering up at the top. Kindly click on it and it will redirect you to a video where we are setting up our first Ionic project. Alright, so once this is seen, now let's start with our designing part. So at first we will be designing an Ion avatar out here. So let's do that quickly. Let's go to our sign up page HTML actually. So this is my HTML, sign up page HTML. Now out here, what am I going to do? After this Ion label, within our Ion list header only, because we need it out here, so we will be using a div and align it to the right side because we want at the right corner, right? Oops, I made a mistake. Alright, sometimes it happens. Fine. Now within this div, I will have an Ion avatar, and in our Ion avatar, I'm going to use an img tag. Let's pass any image out here so that we can at least have some image which we can see the output of. So I will simply use 1.jpg, which is already present in our assets folder, which we have already used. It will be 1.jpg. Alright, now you can see something is coming up but not aligned in a proper manner. In order to align it in a proper manner, we need to work with our div. So I'll pass a class called image out here, with which we are going to work in our SCSS. So let's go to sign up page SCSS. Now out here, let me scroll down. Okay, after Ion list, because this is not within our Ion list, so I'll simply access out here within my Ion footer the image class, and to that at first I'm going to pass some margin right so that we can see it properly. So I'll pass, let's say 5VH will be good. Yeah, that looks fine to me. Now what I'll do, I will access my ion avatar because I want it to be a little bigger, so I'll pass a width of, let's say, 12 VH will be good, and also a height of 12 VH so that it is of the proper circle comes up. Alright, this is looking pretty nice. The next step that we are going to work with is to have an ion FAB button out here, which will help us to click on it and we can access our camera to take a snapshot, alright, or picture, or even we can access the gallery also in our phone. So let's work with that now. So in order to do that up, let's go to our sign up page again, HTML file, and out here after my ion avatar, or in fact before ion avatar, I will work with an ion FAB. Out here vertical will be top, horizontal alignment will be right. Okay, now within our ion FAB I will have an ion FAB button, and within that we will have an ion icon. So out here I will pass the color of the icon to be white and the name of it will be create outline. Now the ion FAB will take the default color at the background to be the primary color, which is I think our orangish color. Let's see how it looks like. Alright, something is coming up but not that good. Now in order to align that properly, what we need to do? We need to work around in our SCSS again. So let's go out there, and in here I'm going to access my ion FAB, where at first let me pass the width and height to be of, let's say, 25 pixels because I want it to be smaller, and even the height also will be the same. Then in fact I will work with the margin also, because on the top, well, let's give -8 pixel because I want it to be little down, and nothing on the right side. Then to the bottom also I don't want to work past anything, and to the left side definitely -20 pixels I think will be good because I want it to be on the left side. So for that I'm passing it in the negative way. Let's check it out. What do we get? Now you can see we can see something but not still the proper one. Why is that so? Because actually this is an ion FAB button, so we need to pass the same thing within our ion FAB button also. What I'll do is I'll pass the same height and width out in here too. Now let's check it out. Okay, this is showing up, but I think I have to adjust some margin. So what I'll do is, instead of pixels, let's use I think 1 VH. Let's see what do we get out here. Okay, we can give a bit more, so 1.2. Alright, I think this is not moving at all. Alright, it is going upwards. So what I have to do is I have to lessen it up to I think 0.7. That might work, I suppose, because I want it to come down, not going to the top. I think it looks better, but we can still pass something like 0.5. and let's check it out. I think that will be the final one, I suppose. Alright, looks good, but let's try with 0.3 also. I think it looks almost the same. Why is it so? If I give as 0, then what happens? Let's check it out. Alright, it is still the same, so it's better that we pass it as 0 only. I think that will be fine. So now this is done. We're good to go with this. Now we need to pass some click event to this, and let's work on that click event now. So for doing that up, in my HTML, to this ion FAB button, I'll pass a click event and we'll call a function called getPicture. Fine, let's define it in our sign up page TypeScript. So at the bottom, let me do that up, or let's do it out here after our init form. So take picture will be our function, and I have declared it out. So now we need to work with the camera plugin. So let's go to our browser. So I'll open it up, and out here let's go to capacitorjs.com/docs. So out here, this is Capacitor version 3, as you can see. Alright, so I'll click on plugins and official plugins, because in the official plugins only we have the camera. Now if you want to learn a lot about Capacitor plugins, so I've explained all of it in my complete course on Ionic, which is available on Udemy. You can check that out, link is in the description. So out here, in order to use this plugin, we have to install it up. So what I'll do is, out here I will open another terminal, and in here I'm going to paste it out and hit enter. So it's going to install this plugin, and the next step is to run this command so that it gets synced up with our project. Alright, now this is installed. Now what is the next step that I'm going to work with is to type this command and hit enter. But remember one thing, let me minimize this up. If you do not have this www folder available, then you will encounter a problem if you directly write this command. So instead of that, I will also show you, not to worry. You just have to write Ionic build command and hit enter at first, which will create the www folder out here. I already have it, still I will run the same command. It will override it up, which is very important. If you skip this step, you will end up into getting some errors which you might not understand why it is occurring. Alright, now the www folder is created. Now we can simply hit this command and hit enter. Alright, the syncing is also done. But now one thing is important to understand, that if we need to run it in a device, we need to connect a device. But what if I want to run it in the browser itself? Well, I cannot do it right now. Even if I pass some functionality out here, I won't be able to do. Let's pass the functionality and then let's see why that is not working. So out here, if I scroll down for iOS, you have to pass these permissions in your info.plist file. So in the info.plist, you have to pass it, and along with the description also. Fine. So for Android, you need these permissions, and also few variables changes also you need to apply. We will work with that, don't worry. At first, let's work on this part. So let me simply copy this up, not in fact this part. From here till here, I'll copy it up and paste it within our function. Now it is giving us some error because this will be async at first, and then we need to import our camera plugin. So this is different from Cordova in such a way that we don't have to import it up in our app.module.ts. We can directly use that up, which is pretty good. Alright, so out here, let's get the quality to 50. 100 is the maximum, I suppose, and you can apply that up. Allow editing, I don't need to do that up. Then instead of that, I will pass few other properties such as the source. So source, I will simply pass camera source and import it up. Dot. Now you have three options. If you just want it from the camera, you can simply pass dot camera. If you want to access only the gallery, not the camera, then you can go for photos. But if you want a prompt, that means it will show up camera or photos. That's up to you to select. You can go for that. So I'll select prompt. And the next thing, I'll pass the width also. You can set the width. I'll set the width to 600. And there are lot many stuffs which you can work around. If you just check this out, you will get to know about it, what all things that you can use out in here. So lot many things are available. As you can see, you can pass the width and height, allow editing, save to gallery or not, everything you can control. And this is the image quality. So yeah, these are all the stuff that you can work with. And in fact, you need to pass the permissions also, I suppose, where it was. Yeah, request permissions for accessing the camera, and photo album permissions too. Alright, so you can just pass this function. Okay, we can do it out here instead, I suppose. This dot, or in fact I can directly access camera dot request permissions. I think this is a promise. Yes, so I need to pass await out here. Until and unless we get the permissions, we will wait. Or you can play with some extra thing also, that if you don't get the permission, you can stop it or whatever you like to do it. I'll leave it up to you. But with this, I'm going to move ahead. Now for our browser. Now let me simply comment this up. Now out here, we will be getting the value of webpath, which will be holding our image. So if you want to learn more about it, you can just check this out. It is already written in the comment section what it actually does. Alright. So now, as I already told you, that in order to access in the browser, we cannot do directly. If you want to just check this out, now let me click on it, and if I check it out here in the console, nothing shows up, right? And in fact, we are not getting any camera getting called. So in order to access that in our browser, what we need to do, let me show you up. So if I just scroll up, for the PWA nodes, something is given that we have to access the PWA elements to access the camera. So I'll simply open this link Alright, so out here we need to install it up. For that, let me simply copy this command and paste it out here. Now once this command is run after completion, or in fact now also I can do, I'll simply copy this import and we have to paste it in our main.ts file. So this is my main.ts. You can just search it out here. In the src folder you will get a main.ts file. Alright, so out here I'm simply going to paste it up, and the next step is to copy this part and paste it out here. Alright, let it finish, then we will check it out again. Alright, so now this is installed properly. Why are we getting some error? Let me save it again. Alright, so everything is, it is saying fail to compile, error is coming up. Alright, it has not been able to detect. Sometimes it happens. If still it doesn't work, then we will run it again. Alright, now it looks fine. So I'll just click on this button now. Okay, this permission is for mainly the application, so I'll just comment it for the time being. Let's try it again. So I'll click on it and there we go. You can see we got the prompt and it is asking me to take photos from the photos actually, and either you can take a picture. So I'll go for a picture. Let's check it out. I'll allow, and now I'll simply take a picture of my own. Alright, but it is not showing up in here because we haven't done anything to do that up. So in order to do that, what I have to do, well, let me just declare a property called selected image of type any and work with that stuff out here. So now one thing is very important, that URI works mainly for the application. In the browser, we get the image when we will be using the data URL. So there are three formats. If you just check this out, type dot, we have base64, data URL and URI. So we will be using data URL out here for our image. Alright, in case of browser. Now I want it to be dynamic, like I always don't want to change it up for Android, iOS and for the web app. So what I'll do, I'll pass a condition out here. Let me do all the stuffs and then we will check it again by running it up. So check platform for web. I'll use this function and within that I'll check if capacitor dot get platform function, which is a function of the capacitor, where we will check that if this is a web, then simply return true. You can pass return also directly. Alright, and out here I'm going to check this, if this dot check platform for web returns true, then I'm going to pass data URL. Otherwise, let me copy this up, I will use the URI. Alright, now out here we need to import this capacitor. So we will import it from at capacitor core. Alright, the error is gone and it is imported. Now also I'll pass another condition out here to be on the safe side, that if it is coming down, then that means I'll simply return false. Alright, that means if we are into the Android or iOS application or platform, then it's going to simply return false and we will have the URI. That's what we are going to do out here. Now in the data URL we don't get the web path. Instead of that we will get the path. So what I'll do, I'll simply remove it. Now out here I'll simply pass this dot selected image will be equals to the image that we will be getting, or all the values that we will be getting within this constant. Fine. And in case of URI we will be getting a web path which you will see when we will actually run that code. Fine. But as I already know, so I'll just pass the condition so that we can do little rapidly. Fine. So out here I'll simply pass a condition that if this dot check platform for web, if it returns true, that means we are in a browser, then this dot selected image dot web path will be equals to image dot data URL, because that's what we will get when we will access this data URL. And in case of URI we will be getting the web path, which we can show it up directly into our image out here. Fine. Now the last thing before checking it up, what I'll do is, let me just open it up. So in the HTML, what I'll do, let me make it an input attribute in this manner. This will be the default image, or you can pass any other image like the avatar image. That will be better, I suppose. Now here I'm simply going to check if selected image is available. Then I'm simply going to pass selected image dot web path. Otherwise I'll simply pass this image. So I'm using a ternary operator out here to apply the condition in our HTML. So this is if the condition is true, and if the condition is false, then we will have this one, the default image. Alright, it's time to check it again. So I'll simply click on this button. The prompt is coming up. Click on take picture, and I will take my picture out here. Alright, and now as you can see, my picture is showing up out here, isn't it? So this is nicely working. Let's try with the photos, but I'm not pretty much sure about the photos. Let's check it out. I think it will open up the, yeah. So let me use the image for the course. Let me just take this one. Alright, now you can see this is also working nicely. So our camera plugin is working smoothly in our browser, which you have already seen, right? So now if I go back and enter it up again, we have the default image. Okay, so according to me, this is looking nice. Do I have the avatar image? If I have it, I'll just simply pass it out here. I don't think I have it. So if you want, you can get it from the browser itself. So in the browser, let's open flat icon website. Now out here, I'm going to type avatar. So several results are coming up. I think this avatar is fine to work with because this is a simple one. So this is a very good site. You can get all the images for free, but you have to pass the attributions. So remember that, don't you directly use it, and don't forget to attribute. This is how you need to attribute. Remember that up. I don't want to give any false information to you guys. So I'll simply download it up, and you can simply copy this up to attribute. If you're using it anywhere in the application also, you can just pass it up. You can just check it how to do that up. Fine. Alright, now this is downloaded. Alright, this is downloaded. So what I'll do, I don't need to work with that. So this is the image. I'll simply cut it up. So this is my project folder, and I'll go to the assets and imgs folder. I'll simply paste it out here. That's it. Now we can simply use it up in our code. So instead of this, I'm going to pass avatar.png, or whether it was, I think, user. Yes, user.png. Alright, this is coming up, but I don't think I'm liking it. I think this one will be good. Alright, so I'll replace it out here. Let's check it out. Okay, this is better than the earlier one, isn't it? And if you want some color in between, let's try that out too. So in the Ion avatar, what I'll do, to the background, let me pass where there's dash Ion color secondary. Let's try it out. Now as you can see, the color of the background has changed, and as it is a PNG image, so we can see it properly, right? Now if you're not liking the colors, you can change it up from here itself. Whichever color you want to pass, you can have that up. Alright, so I'll give a last try with the primary color. So whichever color you like, you can have it. I think instead of both of these, I will use the tertiary color. I think that will be fine. And once that is done, I'll check it again, and then we will try it in our Android device. Okay, I think the secondary color was much better. So I'll go with the secondary color. That's my choice. So this is done. Now let's try it again, and let me take it from the photos quickly. And there we go. It is still working nicely. Alright. So this is done. Now it's time to work with the real device, real Android device. So for Android and iOS, we need to perform some changes. I will tell you about both at first, and then we will move ahead. So let's check the documentation, what we exactly need to do. So out here for the iOS, like I already told you, that you have to use this permissions in your info.plist. That's the only thing that you need to do. So there are two ways. Either you can do it from the Xcode. You have to pass this thing out there in the Xcode, and all of this I have explained in the course pretty nicely. If you want, you can just grab it from there itself. So for this tree in iOS, in the info.plist, you can simply pass, let me show you. Let's go to our HTML only. Let me show it in the commented manner if you have any confusion. So this is the thing that you need to pass in your info.plist file by going to the iOS folder, which will be created when you add the iOS platform, or you can do it from the Xcode. Alright, you can just search it on the internet, or if you want, it sooner. Enroll in my course. If you have already enrolled, you will get it out there. I've already explained how to do that up for iOS 2 in Capacitor version 3. There is a section upgrade to Capacitor version 3, you will get it out there. Alright, so this is for iOS, and now I'm going to cover up the Android one, and that's what I'm going to show you out here. So for the Android, at first I will add the platform for that. So for that, Ionic Capacitor add Android. You can use short form cap also instead of capacitor. So let me do that up. Always remember to use the command Ionic build before adding the platform. Alright, if you do not have the www folder, then you will run into some errors. Remember that. Now before adding the platform, I'll stop it out here. Why did I stop? Because in order to run it properly, I need to change the package name so that I don't encounter any problem. In some cases it might give you some errors, so it's better that you change the package name to something else. Mostly in iOS you will get the error. In Android it might still work. So this package name has to be unique, and in this manner you have to pass the domain name in this manner, in the reverse manner, then the app name. Fine. Now I will add it up. You can do it later on also, but again there has to be some things that needs to be done, which I have explained in the course definitely. Alright, now you can see that this is done, and if I scroll up, I'll see an Android folder out here. Now what is the next step that we need to follow? So for the Android, it is saying that I need to pass this permission at first in our Android manifest. So let's open it up and go to our Android folder, into the app folder, then the src main. We have the Android manifest.xml file, and out here let me search for these permissions. I have to scroll down. I only have the internet permission, so out here I will paste this permissions. Fine. We need to do one more step, I suppose, which is to be done in the variables.gradle defining apps variable.gradle. So let's go out there at first, and then we will see what actually we need to do. So into the app, let me minimize this up, into the apps variable.gradle. Where is it? Maybe this one. Yeah. Alright. So out here what I need to do. So at first, Android X exif interface version. Okay. So this is what I need to use, where I will pass the default version to be 1.3.2. Okay, let's check it out. Do I have it or not? Let me first search it. No, we don't have it. So let me pass it out here, and dollar symbol is not needed, which will be equals to 1.3.2. Fine. That's the version that is written out here. The next one is this Android X material version 1.3.0. Let's do that also, but let me first check it. Easiest way is to search. Doesn't exist, then I'll paste it out here, which will be equals to 1.3.0. That's it. Now this is done. I think we are good to go with the setup for our Android, right? If you want to open this project into the Android Studio, you can type the command Ionic cap or capacitor, open Android. But at first what I'll do, I will simply sync the project to check for any changes that is not synced. It will sync it up. Alright, so this is done. Now I'll simply run the command Ionic cap run Android, and if you want to run live reload, you can simply pass -l and -host you have to pass. So basically that will be your IP. Again, these things also I have shown it out there, but I just simply want to run it. So I will just hit this command. So -host and the IP address, if you pass it out here, you can run it in a live reload manner also. Just for the record, if you just want to know about it. Alright, so out here you can see that it is showing the device, which is actually my Oppo phone, which is connected, and the other one is the emulator. I don't want to run it in the emulator, so I'll simply click check this and enter. Alright, so I have exited it up because it was taking a long time. If it is running in your system, then it's fine. So instead of that, I will use another thing. I will open it up in my Android Studios using the open command. So Ionic cap open Android and hit enter. Alright, now our project is opened up in the Android Studio. Let's open our Android Studio. So I'll select this window. Do you want to terminate the process? Alright, let's terminate this up. Well, there was an earlier project that was running. That is why that prompt came up. so it will take some time to configure. Alright, all the dependencies are done nicely. Gradle build is finished. My phone is showing up in here. I'll simply hit this run button now. So again, it's gonna run out here. It will take some time. For the first build, it's gonna take little time, and the consecutive builds will be very much faster. Alright, so let's wait for a while until it gets built and running in our device. Alright, so now you can see that our application is launched in the device. So now let's see how can we check that out in our device, how it is running. So in my browser, I can watch that up using the inspect. Well, this is the thing that you need to use, Chrome inspect, in this manner, and it's gonna open up the device that is running with the USB debugging on. Remember that if you do not switch on your USB debugging, well, that differs from phone to phone, but you have to switch it on. If you don't do that, it won't work. Even for installing in your device also, you need to have USB debugging switched on. Alright, now I'll click on inspect. Now you can see the app is showing up, right? Now what I'll do, I'll try to access my phone and you will see the changes out there. Now if I click on sign in, we can see the sign in screen, isn't it? Now if I go back and click on sign up, it is opening up, right? Now let's try to take a picture. So I'll click on this button and the prompt is coming up, but you won't be able to see it on the browser. So I'll just take a picture and there you can see my photo is showing out there. Alright, now if I take it from the gallery, let me hit allow. So this is the picture that I have taken from the gallery. Well, this is one of the images that I used in the course for the iOS project. So this is the image. So everything is working very nicely out here also, and you will get the same exposure for the iOS devices also. Alright, so everything is working pretty nicely out here. So with this, I will wrap up this lecture out here. So finally, I would like to say that if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do that. And you've already seen that how much things are already available in the course, which I've already mentioned in this particular video. So what are you waiting for? Go and enroll in that course, which is running in bestseller right now, which is a very good achievement for me also, because that is my first course and it is coming in bestseller. So it's pretty awesome. Just go and check it out. The first chapter is almost free. So thank you very much.